rAVe Radio. With rants and raves, you'll be okay. And today is your lucky day. It is rants and raves with Gary K.
Hey everyone, this is Gary K, and thank you for joining me for this edition of my Rants and Raves video cast. And today I'm joined by an old friend, Jason McGraw, who's now the Group Vice President at CEDIA and KBiz. Jason, how are you?
Great, Gary. Glad to be here.
You and I have worked together over 30 years, Jason. Can you believe that?
Time has certainly flown by.
It's interesting. We've always worked together in the context of a trade show, and here we are working together again in the context of a trade show. You ran the Infocom show. Everyone knows Infocom. We have a huge commercial AV readership. I mean, probably 80 to 85% of our total readership is commercial, and then we have another 15%, maybe 20% high-end residential and mixture. In fact, I think you've coined the phrase for this year's CEDIA show, the idea of Resimercial. I think a lot of people have historically looked at CEDIA as exclusively a residential show, but what happened over the pandemic, let's be honest here, with CEDIA coming up in the first week of September, I'm excited to be going. We'll talk about that in just a second. But what happened in the pandemic is people started working from home, obviously. So now all of a sudden the commercial market has invaded the home, Jason.
That's true. I mean, we've all been here doing this, right? Connecting online. And so a lot of the commercial solutions have found their way into the home as people have been working remote. Well, most people actually. And, there's been a lot more investment in, commercial solutions for, work from home applications and having that flexibility and needing, better cameras, better lighting, better microphones, networking, even your lighting, your furniture, everything in the home to make it more like an office and more comfortable and flexible. So, we're certainly addressing that trend at CEDIA Expo this year.
Yeah, and in fact, let's look at it from the context of I had a home office, but I would never sit in that home office more than half hour to an hour at any given time. But then I had to go to sitting in at 8 hours and realized my chair was uncomfortable, realized my lighting was terrible, my camera was terrible. I didn't have my power supply or my outlet close enough to the wall so that my wires were having to be strung weirdly. I mean, it was one thing after another, and all of us went through that. So therefore, this year CEDIA, instead of exclusively being high-end residential, which it is still going to be, which is home theater, smart home, smart lighting, power, right? I mean, that's another thing we're going to talk about in just a second, because there's this opportunity of a lifetime for all types of integrators, home and commercial integrators, to get into providing secondary power and natural power services to homes where people have to have critical. Like before, if your internet went out for a couple of days, you just went to the office. Now you're at home and you can't go to the office. The internet goes out for a couple of days, you can't do anything. Right. So this is a big deal. Now CEDIA is happening the first week of September. It's the normal month of CEDIA, but I'm sure it's far from normal for you. Talk about where we are with CEDIA. And by the way, registration's available now, right? Let's pop that up because registration's available at CEDIA Expo.com. Is that right, Jason?
Correct. And that's the homepage for the show. You'll find all the show information there and link to register for the show. So all the CEDIA Association conference sessions are online, manufacturer product training sessions, all the content that we have on the show, the exhibitor list, the floor plan, it's all there at CEDIAExpo.com. But we're excited, Gary. It's been 2 years since the last show in 2019, in-person show. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, last year due to the pandemic, we had to have a virtual event, and that's great, keeping people connected with product information and knowledge. But we're really excited. We think there's a pent-up demand to get back to the in-person show. The industry has been thriving, in this environment as people have been investing more in the homes, but that hasn't stopped technology from advancing. So, the channel, the integrators, designers, I mean, they haven't had the opportunity to see the products and talk to the manufacturers face to face in 2 years. And, so we're excited about getting back together in Indianapolis, having as robust a show as we can, given these circumstances. I mean, yes, there's been a few brands that that have unfortunately not been able to participate this year because of travel restrictions and other issues. But we have the major players in the industry exhibiting on the show floor, and there's over 250 exhibitors on the floor. So it's going to be a fantastic show from the exhibit standpoint, but the education, the sessions, the networking. We're introducing a new matchmaking platform online and a lounge at the show so people can meet up. So we're adding a bunch of new features this year and celebrating getting back together and celebrating what's going on, the new trends in the industry, and really hoping to propel companies' businesses into the new year.
Yeah, and speaking of exhibitors, I mean, you have some big ones coming back that hadn't been there in a few years, with Crestron, for example, being one of the big ones. And of course, they're a big driver of the industry. But you have companies like Snap, who's been a big Snap AV, now Snap One has been a big supporter of the show. They own Control 4. That all happened since the last show. And of course, you've got all the big, you've got almost 300 companies going to be there. But some of the new things are going to be there, I think people are going to find interesting. We talked about this concept of Resimercial, but part of that is collaboration technology, the platforms like Zoom and Teams and even still Skype and Blue Jeans and companies like that, and also the hardware like the cameras, the mics, the acoustic baffling. I mean, everything that you can imagine, headphones all the way through powered speaker specific applications for your home. It's going to all be wrapped into this partnership that you have with IMCCA. Will you talk about that for just a second?
Yeah, thanks, Gary. Personally, I've worked with Carol Zelkin, the executive director of IMCCA, for many, many years, previously at Infocom, but they've partnered with us this year to have a home office demo area on the show floor where we've got Poly, Jabra. We have other brands, Cisco and Zoom, coming to the show. They're also going to host a series of sessions on our Innovation Hub stage, and also kind of state of the industry in terms of the collaboration space and the home, being on a big panel on our smart stage on the show floor. So definitely, as we let off with talking about this big trend, but also having the leading brands there on the floor, and Crestron. You mentioned also leading the way with solutions for that, collaborative conferencing application in the home at the show. So there's going to be products on the show floor. There's going to be subject matter experts to learn from. There's going to be technical people there to talk to. Hey, how do I make this work? What's your new product? How do I integrate this? And for a lot of our pure Resi integrators, this is a new area to learn and a new business opportunity that we want to capitalize on. And, at the same time, we're seeing commercial integrators that are like, hey, business has been a little off, through the pandemic, depending on their market and their segments. But, they've seen residential really taking off and doing more work there. So, and then there's certainly that kind of crossover, the multi-dwelling units and the mixed use
bars,
spaces.
Restaurants, multi-dwelling apartment and condo buildings, hotels, hospitality, all that is that gray area. If you did a Venn diagram, that's where the two meet in that area. So it makes sense. I mean, listen, not everybody's going to be able to go to Infocom. Not everybody wants to go down to Orlando. Not everybody's going to feel comfortable. And maybe there's a bunch of people in the Midwest that can drive this year to CEDIA because it's in Indianapolis. So consider going. I mean, check it out. I mean, I've always thought of CEDIA as like a big boy toy kind of show because it's like a toy fair for technology. But at the same time, this year it's gonna introduce some of the collaboration technology and some of the home commercial technology, and we're going to be there in a big way. We're going to bring the game to CEDIA for the first time ever. We're going to do live on the show floor coverage of the show. We're going to do lots of live streaming of interviews. I'll bring Jason on live at the show, some of the movers and shakers and thought leaders in the industry. And we're going to go around to every booth and shoot videos like we are used to doing. And we'll bring all that to you over the course of the show and the week after the show. We're going to kind of do this sort of like a 2-week kind of CEDIA thing and partner with CEDIA in a way we've never done before. We've covered the show for about 10 years, Jason, but not the way we're about to cover it this year. So I'm excited about it. I know you must be excited. Show dates exactly are
September 1 through 3, Wednesday through Friday. Kicking off the conference activities start the day before on August 31st on Tuesday. But, Gary, you mentioned Indianapolis is within 500 miles of half of the U.S. population. So it's got a fantastic, highly rated airport. We have all the hotels downtown. There's plenty of hotel rooms. It's
you can walk to that show no matter where you stay. That's the one show you can walk to no matter where you stay. Like, you can walk to that show. That is a great area. And Jason, I'm excited for you. I'm also excited for the industry. This will be the biggest show our industry's had, kicking it back into gear. I know Infocom's excited about you having the show in September because it'll produce some momentum for their event as well. Enterprise Connect as well. I think we'll get some momentum out of it. So Jason, congratulations. And we will be there. I will be there. So I will see you all there. 1st to the 3rd, please register. Go down to the link down below where you see this recording right now and register, please. Even if you're not sure if you want to go ahead and register, because there's going to be a virtual component to the show that gives you the ability, or a hybrid component to the show gives you the ability to see the hybrid coverage, even if you've registered, even if you're not sure if you're going to go, or even if you don't have the ability to go this year. This way you get on the list for future years and get the hybrid coverage. So Jason, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thanks, Gary. We'll see everybody in Indianapolis.
We will see you there.